Hi folks, today I'm going to talk about the timescale function in Vena. So the timescale function is used to enable some of the functions that enable you to traverse time. So in the sense that you may want to look at what was the value in a prior period, what was the value in 2 periods ago, 3 periods ago, all the periods to date, maybe future periods, last year, that kind of thing. So there's a really good article on the knowledge base here on Vena Calc's Guide 5 for functions. If you scroll down towards the end, you'll see here we're getting into functions around time. To enable these functions around time, you need to use the timescale function. So if I look for a timescale, you'll see here it's listing me. It's giving me the idea that I need to define what the timescale is. Now the reason for this is there are a number of different ways you can represent time in Vena or in multiple OLAP tools. So here we're saying we want to identify what is the year, maybe what is a quarter, and then what is a period. There could be that might be longer than that. So maybe you wanted to have year, half year, quarter, week, day. That whatever elements of time you have, that's fine. This it just tells Vena this is how time is arranged with this set of dimensions at this level. In the example here, it's referencing specific members. These are just representative members, so you don't necessarily have to have. You don't need to say this is exactly the time scale I'm going to use in this particular instance. It's just say this is an example of where my year is, this is an example of where my quarter is, this is an example of where my period is. And by putting those in, then it tells Vena how you represent time in this particular model. Once you do that, you have access to stuff like period to date. You can specify levels. Year to date is a really handy function, quarter to date as well. Next period. Now for next period, there is a parameter for lag. So and similar for PrevPeriod, previous period. This will help you identify, okay, maybe I don't want the next period, I want 2 periods in the future, 3 periods in the future. And this number here, I may be wrong in saying this, but I do believe this is the number of periods different from where I am right now. So you can also think of it as an offset. And by default, the lag is equal to 1. So you don't specify this, you just say next period, it's going to say a lag of 1. PrevPeriod, next period, so maybe you want to have a set of periods. PrevPeriods, again, if you wanted to say maybe you're doing a rolling average of the last 3 periods, this will give you an opportunity to sum up the last 3 periods just before wherever you are. So by creating a calculation in this fashion, you can create the calculation once, and then it's going to apply appropriately to all different periods you have across your model. So it's a good article to review. Now, what I'm trying to use it for right now is to calculate a earning of an insurance product over a period of time. I have to identify my time scale. To say here I'm using it for a particular, this is where I have year, this is where I have quarter, and this is where I have individual periods. Notice how my quarters and my periods are in the same dimension. That's perfectly fine. And I go off and I start doing a calculation to figure out how to earn out a 6-month insurance product. Now, the challenge I've run into here that I want to share is this. Because I have a period 0 member, I can't just use a general case. So I have to go in and say, hey, for January, I'm going to say, look at my current year. If I'm looking at, so this will be my budget, and here we're saying look at the current year for period 12, which is just the prior of the budget, and then the current year 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. So there's a couple of different special cases to consider. But the general case is down here. So here for the general case, this would be for anything for July through December of either budget or forecast. I can say, here I'm saying this particular product, I'm saying for period 7 through 12, and I can say take whatever period I'm in right now. This is a 6-month product divided by 6, and then half that. This is just the method of calculating this particular item. And I can just say, PrevPeriod lag 1, divide that by 6, PrevPeriod lag 2, divide by 6, and you'll see the pattern all the way down. So this gives me half of my current period plus 1/6 of all the previous periods, and then for 6 periods ago, just half of that period. And that's the calculation I want. So this will work for all of these different periods, and it will figure out the appropriate periods to be looking at for these components. Because of my period 0 member, this won't work correctly for periods January through June. So that's why I have to add special cases above to handle those specifically. But wanted to share that. Hopefully that's a nice example of where you can use timescale and some of the nuances of when you can use it and when you may need to apply special cases, a combination of special cases with your general case. Thanks for watching.